Today we're going to learn how to fine-tune a model with GPT. If we look at the documentation, we can see that there are several things that we need to do, with the first thing being setting up our prompts and the responses that we want from GPT. This will be structured as a JSON file of prompts and completions. We will also need to tune the hyperparameters for training our model, though we will discuss that later. Today, we will be using a realistic example for training our model. We'll take a sample of scientific articles and map them to scientific concepts. The first thing we'll need to do is take our scientific abstracts, our scientific terms, and map them to JSON. Though if you look at the dataset, it has some issues, so we're going to need to stratify this dataset. And what that means, improving the quality of the dataset. So what we want to do is remove the examples that have empty abstracts or empty concepts. I will be using Java today, though this could be translated to Python or any other language. We will be using the following dependencies in this Maven project: Theo Conning's GPT library, both the API and the service imports, alongside Apache POI to parse the Excel document. Finally, Google JSON to handle serialization of the Java objects into JSON. The first thing we'll need to do is create our document object. This will include a string field for our abstract text and a collection of strings to store our scientific concepts. We'll be using this class to pass information onto our next class, the training prompt. This class will include two string fields of prompt and completion for serialization into JSON. To simplify our lives, we can also go back to document now and add a helper method to map documents to training prompts. If you look at the creation of the completion section, we are automatically appending new lines between each element. This is how GPT expects multiple responses to be separated. So we will need to separate our scientific concepts with these new line characters. Now we can begin building our document utility class, which will help us convert our Excel file into document objects. This class loops over each row inside of the primary sheet of this workbook. It then analyzes each cell for the abstracts and the keywords to make sure they're not empty to go ahead and stratify the dataset. Once we have assured the dataset is stratified, we go ahead and split the keywords out into a list of strings and create a new document object. Once we have our collection of documents, we split them out with 3/4 of them being training documents and the other quarter for validation. We add them to their relevant list. Next, we create our prompt utility, which lets us map these documents to training prompts. We then take these training prompts and create our training file. Each line of the file is a separate JSON object. Finally, we create our fine-tuning service, which will require a couple of different things. You will have to have your OpenAI API key, as well as uploading the fine-tuning files to OpenAI prior to training. Once the files have been uploaded to OpenAI, we can submit a fine-tuning request, which will then train our model. We can now put this all together in our main method, where we first need to create our documents from the Excel file, alongside our training sets and our validation sets, which we will then pass off to the fine-tuning service. In the next video, we will discuss how to tweak hyperparameters and test and validate our model, alongside how we look at the responses. If this please like and subscribe.